If you've got problems in your swing, as I'm about to show you now with two different examples, I want you to work on this exercise so that you can break those habits and reinforce them with something really positive. Let me show you exactly what I mean. When I do this exercise, I'm looking for the arms and the body to stay together, linked together, and for my shaft to be parallel to the target line. I see players, as they take the club away, their arms shoot away from their bodies and the club goes straight out on this direction here, nowhere near the takeaway plane. If you have that problem, then I think the best way to correct that is to try to feel in your takeaway that your arms stay linked to your body. You can see I have a lot of pressure in this area here. Let me show you how that looks. That's the mistake, and that's what you want to work towards. If you can see that that's a problem in your swing, then this is an area that you will really want to repeat. Another common problem in the takeaway is to use your body too much, which causes your arms to get way inside. It's a common misperception. Try to turn the club away with your body, and I think that gets players into a lot of trouble. Remember, we said let the club head have that head start and feel that the club head motion makes your body move. Let me show you what I'm talking about. As we know, I'm going to resist with my body, keep my belt buckle at the ball, and let my arms work up my chest. You can see now my shaft matches my target line. If I'm trying to keep my body and my arms connected and I turn too quickly, the club is going to go shooting inside of me because I have rotated so quickly. I have got nearly all of my turn in the first 4 feet of my takeaway. How am I going to finish my swing? I can't just keep turning. I'm not an elastic band. The only way to keep turning or keep moving is to lift your arms. If your arms separate away from your body, you'll never be consistent, you'll never be able to achieve the full power potential. So if you have that feeling in your golf swing, all you need to do is to really keep your belt buckle facing the ball as long as you can and get used to having the idea that the club head is going to have a 4-foot head start before your body starts moving. Now, as we build up your swing from the quarter swing to the half swing, there's one vital element that is added here. That is using the fastest lever in your body, which is your wrist hinge. If your golf swing doesn't have an effective wrist hinge, you are not maximizing your power and you're certainly not maximizing your accuracy. I will show you now how you can use this most important element, probably the most important element in golf. As we could see, my quarter swing was here. To build this into a half swing, all I'm going to do is let my wrists fully hinge, and I want you to have this hinge by the time your left arm is parallel to the ground. You can see I'm not this way, that's no hinge at all. There. Let this create this 90-degree angle. The reason for that is that if I don't hinge it until the top of my backswing, the club will get too loose and I won't be able to control this heavy weight. Hinge it early, then you want to turn. So what we're going to do is to show you how to make this half swing so that you can get the full use of your wrist action. Your wrists have 3 things that they have to do. Hinge in the backswing, release at impact to where I've let that angle go, and then through the ball, they will rehinge again. I want you to work really hard on this exercise. If you can do this, you will improve your ball striking, maximize your power in a very, very efficient and easy to control motion. If you don't use your wrists correctly, you will always be trying to compensate by overusing your body. Your body is much bigger, it's far more difficult to get moving. The wrists and hands are easy. So many things we do with wrists and hands. Watch me do this exercise now, and then this is something that every time you go to the range, you want to be able to perform this drill. A little bit wider stance as my swing gets bigger. Here, impact, really let it go. Let your right arm straighten and let all of that weight and power release at impact, and then let it snap through. When I'm doing this exercise, I feel that the fastest part of my swing is after impact. I probably get 80% of my full distance just on this half swing because my wrists are the power in my golf swing. From this view, the down the line view, you'll be able to see the plane that I set the shaft on. If your plane is too steep or too flat, you'll be ill prepared to hit the ball. Let me show you the difference between steep and shallow, and this area that I want you to set the shaft on. If you can imagine a line that comes from the ball through the middle of my body up this shaft line, I want you, when you hinge the club, to stay on that line. This is too steep and will cause you to lift and get into trouble. And this is too flat, which will cause you to get too around and too much under the plane. It's vital that you set the club on the right plane if you're to get the angle of attack and the path coming into the ball. Go to a mirror, and these are the following keys that I want you to test for. 1, that my hands are absolutely in the middle of my chest by the time my left arm is parallel. Not out away from you and not back behind you, in the middle of your chest. Number 2, that the plane of the shaft points just inside the ball, somewhere in this area here. Not behind my feet and not out parallel to the ground. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want to have the grip pointing in between the ball and your feet. And if you can get it a little closer to your feet, that's probably better. And number 3, look at my body. I have got very, very little hip turn and a lot of resistance. Make sure your body doesn't spin out too early if you're anxious to hit the ball. So, let the arms dominate the first half of your backswing, and then your body turn dominate the last half of your backswing. So I want you to think about your golf swing in terms of emotion. And if it's going to be emotion, then balance is very important. Let me show you what happens to my balance during my golf swing. You can test your balance, and if you need to work on it, then this will be the exercise that will help you. When I take my address position, I try just to rock from my heels to my toes to make sure that my weight is on the balls of my feet. I see a lot of players, when they take the club back, this leg straightens and the weight all goes back onto the heel. There is no movement in athletics, sports, anything that you can do if your weight is on your heels. If you have this problem, follow along with me now in this simple drill to solve this problem once and for all. What I want you to do is to lift this heel so that you overflex this knee, and you can feel how in the takeaway that my weight stays on the balls of my feet. There's no way I can push this heel back and fall out of balance if I do this exercise. Lift the heel, and keep that weight supported. Keep your body in balance. If your body is in balance, the human body is a clever machine. It will figure out how to work the motion. If you send it out of balance, you won't get any of your natural instincts coming into your golf game. When you're hitting golf balls, I want you to focus on, perhaps especially with the short irons, the re-release. And what I mean by re-release is how you let the club go at impact and what happens to it after the ball. Many players try to control the ball and guide it to where they want it to go. It's so inefficient and it's so ineffective. All right? If you're going to hit the ball, at least give it a hit and then go and find it. If it wasn't where you wanted it, then you've got some more practice to do, but at least give yourself the chance to really hit the ball properly. As you're coming down, I want you to swing the club head down into the ground so that you hit the ball, then the divot, and then let your wrists snap and go. You can see how my right arm is totally straight here. Don't guide it, don't hold it into yourself. It may feel safer, but it's very inefficient and you're losing very important power. If you see from this angle, again, my hands are out in front of me. Now my left arm has folded and my right arm is straight. Try to get your right arm pointing in the direction that you want the ball to go. Don't try to guide it or manipulate it. If you can do these exercises, you will get the most out of your potential. As we move from the half swing exercise, which is really training your arms, your hands and your wrists, now we need to talk about what happens in your body motion. You need to be able to coordinate these two movements, and the body motion is certainly the simplest to learn and definitely the easiest. All that happens is that once I've set up my angles, you can see my spine angle and my body position. I am going to turn using my shoulders as the engine so that when I turn, I keep this spine angle. I don't want to see you tilting down, getting lower, or most commonly standing up out of your shot. You can see now my body angles have completely changed from how they were originally. Turn and keep these angles consistent. If your angles are changing, you've got so much to compensate for in your downswing to correct all of those mistakes that your consistency will never ever be satisfying. Turn your body and keep those angles. Try to aim your shoulders at the ball. The other area that we need to talk about is weight shift. Weight shift is controlled by your shoulder motion and your torso. I start off at address with my weight 50-50. At the top of my backswing, I could almost lift my left foot. At my finish, I can certainly lift my right foot. So you must make sure that your body motion gets the mass of your body moving back behind the ball in the backswing so that you can use all of that momentum to hit the ball as powerfully as possible. As we look at more advanced body motion, we're looking to use the two sides of the body, the left side and the right side, as a simultaneous unit. I want you to feel that in your backswing you try to get your left shoulder over your right toe, and then as you start down you want to get your right shoulder over your left toe. The other important element to understand is that as I start down to the ball, if I let my left side slide towards the hole, I'll never be able to get my right side through. Try to get the idea that your left side clears out of the way to give your right side the room to come through. If you slide into the ball, your right side will be stuck, and the only thing you can use to hit the ball will be your hands and arms. So, left side behind the ball, let your left side clear out of the way. You can see my head is here and my shoulder has moved away to allow my right side to punch through. Very, very powerful movements. If you can control these movements and link this up with a powerful hand and arm action, then you're looking at creating a really dynamic motion. Now you can see from my golf swing that there are definitely two moving parts, and these moving parts are something that we need to focus on separately. If you look, my arms work up and down my chest, and that's one part of the movement. The other is my body motion. As my body turns, my weight shifts onto my right foot, and then as I turn down to hit the ball, my weight transfers as I open up through to my left foot. The art of building a good golf swing is to have sound fundamentals in both of those motions. The arm swinging up the chest, the body motion and the weight shift moving together. The element of putting those two motions into one unit is the key for good golf. You look at any tour player, if he's really playing well, it's because he has such good coordination and timing, what we call synchronization, between his arm swings and his body motion. What we're going to do for your game is to maximize your potential in this area. Now we're going to be more specific about how you build the arm swing and the body turn together. Once I've taken my address, and I know this position, and I know this position, you can see by the time my left arm is parallel to the ground, which is about half an arm swing, that I have half a shoulder turn. One of the major keys in completing your backswing is to be able to use your shoulders to turn your arms to the top of the backswing. Now when I do this, one of the most important areas is to be keeping the width. The width is the distance between your hands and your body. Width equals power. If I have a backswing where my arms collapse into me, I have no room to release my arms. It's much more important to let your shoulders turn your arms so that I have all of this distance to release back down. I can keep the speed going, and my body and my arms will team up to give maximum power on the impact. Make some swings, set yourself in the correct position, then let your left shoulder wind up over your right toe and keep the club away from you. Don't let this collapse into you. Collapses in, you're losing power. Set it, turn it to the top, keep it wide, and let it go. keeping the radius of your swing, keeping your arms away from you. That's the next stage for you to really become a great golfer. As we're building up your swing now, from the hand action and then the hand action and the wrist action, we now need to pay attention to some of those body positions, because now your arm swing and your body turn need to team up to create a powerful unit. From this position, I want to show you what your top of the backswing should look like. This is your first set. This is the half swing. Now, when I'm keeping the width, it's important that I keep my arms and my body working in the same way. When I get to the top, here's my right arm angle, and you see how it matches my spine angle. Now let's talk a little bit about club face. I want your club face so that this angle of the shaft matches exactly with my left forearm. Here are some common mistakes. This is a shut club face. You can see that the club face is pointing much more to the sky than this angle. Another common mistake, and the most destructive, is to get this open face. You can see how the toe is hanging down, much more so than my left forearm. If you've got those kind of mistakes in your swing, then those are things that you need to focus on straight away. Club face is vital. Don't work on wrist action, don't work on body motion until you've solved club face. If your club face isn't correct, you can't really play the game. Now when we're talking about full body motion, full arm swing, there are still a few things which we need to be aware of. We know our quarter swing, we know our halfway back, and you can see the resistance in my body. Now as I go to complete this, it is vital for me to get my shoulders and my arms to finish my backswing together. The reason this makes sense is that I want my body and my arms to get to the ball at the same time. If my arms and my body didn't finish the backswing together, it's not a very good chance that they're going to start down together. So watch me make a few swings here so you can see how my shoulder turn and my hands and my arm swing stop at the same time. They stop at the same time. I'm hoping that they're going to start down at the same time and get to the ball at the same time. This is a great little exercise to help you feel the top of the backswing. Get to halfway back with half an arm swing and half a shoulder turn. Make sure you're not over rotated with a full turn. If I get into this position, the only thing that I can move to finish my backswing is to lift my arms. If I lift my arms, my body and my arms have no idea of where they are. I don't know how I'm going to start down, and if I don't know that, I'm never going to be consistent at impact. Halfway back, and now wind to the top. I want to get my left shoulder down over my right toe and keep my arms away from me. See how they stop together? Much better. If you can't make a full turn, you don't want to try to get it longer by letting your arms go longer. You let your arms go longer, your body will take off, and your arms, just as they were late to the top of the backswing, will be late to impact. This is a fabulous drill to help you feel how to synchronize your golf swing. Now when I'm practicing, what I try to do is make a very clear plan and make an idea of why I'm coming to the range. If you're going to the range just to hit balls, then fine, but don't expect to get much better. If you're going to the range to improve, you need to have a plan of why you went there. When I'm practicing, I have one idea that I'm going to go and work on. If I have one thought, I've got a pretty good chance of getting close to what I want. If I've got 10 thoughts, I've got no chance at all. So keep your plan. Don't just change your plan from the feelings you get at impact. You have to be able to detach the impact feelings from what you're doing. If you're working on your backswing, it doesn't make any sense to judge how you're doing by what's happening to the golf ball. Practice is very difficult to do effectively. Tour players practice fabulously well. They are so efficient. They go to the range for an hour and they will improve. Amateurs definitely have a weakness in this area. When I'm working on my game and I'm thinking about something I'm trying to do in my backswing or my address or my weight shift, I tee the balls up because I'm not worried about impact and I want to make it easier for myself so that I'm not duffing it or thinning it or whatever. Stick to your plan, practice the same thing over and over again until you've got it. Once you've got it and you're on that platform, then it's time to start thinking about the next level of improvement. Now, good ball striking is something that comes with experience and with practice, but I want to give you the idea of what you're trying to do. Many players feel to get the ball up into the air that they have to scoop up and hit the ball up into the air themselves. Completely wrong. The loft of the club sends the ball up into the air. To get the benefit of the loft of the club, you must hit down on the ball. The idea is to pinch the ball between the club and the ground, and that's what gives the ball the elevation. Watch this exercise that I do now when I'm working on my ball striking. Take the ball, and then what I like to do is put a tee a good 4 inches behind the ball so that I know I'm not going to come in too shallow or be trying to hit the ball on the upswing. Practice what that feeling is going to be like. Try to trap the shaft into the ground. If you can work on this exercise, your ball striking will improve leaps and bounds, and you will get far more efficient at getting those difficult iron shots into the green. The timing of squaring up the club face exactly at impact is something that is very, very difficult to learn, and unfortunately only comes with lots of practice and experience. This is an exercise that will help you to understand how to square up the club face, but more importantly, when to square up the club face. I see many players and they come down to the ball pretty well, and they're holding on and they're holding on and they're holding on, and then they release it, and they're like, well, why did my shot go so far to the right? I could feel that I released it, but the release was too late. You need to feel that you've got the club face coming in square to the ball almost before impact to be able to get it square at impact. Now, this baseball exercise, where I swing the club out in front of me, shows me exactly what I'm trying to do. If I come to the ball here and now I let it release, you can clearly see that the club face was so open. As I come down, I want to be trying to square up the club face so that when it comes out in front of me, the toe is up in the air and now is overtaking the heel. You need to learn not only how to roll your arms to get this effect, but also when to roll your arms. Out in front of you. So what I like to do, a couple of practice swings to get the feeling, And then see how I do. Play with this a little bit. Learn the feeling of hitting a little bit of a fade so you hold it a little bit later. Let it draw. Let the club face shut coming in before impact so you over-roll it. Your arms are a steering wheel for the club face. Learn how to manipulate that steering wheel, and your ball striking and control of flight will get you around even the most difficult golf courses in the world.